So it's Saturday, March the 11th, and we were working on the electrical, but there's some things we need to take care of first, and one of them is getting our new water heater installed and taking out the old one. So today, and maybe tomorrow, I'm going to be working on that. And our old water heater is down in the lazarette behind the engine, and our new water heater is going to go up underneath the galley sink in a little space we've got there near the edge of the hull. And this is our new 4-gallon ISO-temp stainless steel water heater. And it looks like a pretty sweet unit, and some of the advantages are it's going to be closer to the kitchen sink where most of our hot water use is right now. Plus it'll be a little closer to the head when we get the shower installed and start showering in there. The water heater is a 110 volt fired water heater, and it also has ports for the heat exchanger from the engine, so we can also heat water when we're running the engine and we're not hooked to shore power or running the inverter. It has a thermostatic mixing valve on it also, which controls it mixes cold water with the hot water coming out of the tank. Our engine doesn't get much above 160 or 170 degrees, but you don't want your water in your hot water tank to come out that hot. So this has a control valve where you can mix additional cold water and set the thermostat to whatever level you want, and then that's the water you'll get out of the tap. So we'll take you around, show you where it's going, show you the old water heater, and everything we're going to have to cut apart in order to access that area and get this thing installed. So now we're going to show you where the water heater is currently and where we're going to move it to. Okay, so here's the lazarette where we currently have the old water heater. It's supposed to be a 6-gallon, but I don't know if it actually holds 6 gallons. So apparently we don't seem to be losing much by going with a 4-gallon unit. So this is where the new water heater is going to be installed. Up under this mess, just below the drain hose for the galley sink. Got some spots marked out, and it's going to bolt to the bulkhead wall there, and we're going to have to do some cutting back here in order to be able to access the bolts. What they did was they built a sloped back on the seat back and also created a curve. So there's some dead space back behind there, and unfortunately that's where I need to get to install the backing plates to support the 40 or 50 pounds worth of water in that tank. A foot off of here, so this is actually going to end up being kind of about like that. And then weird.
Doing a test fit.
These are some old backer plates from all the deck hardware we changed, and they're like right here, you can see they were ugly as hell, so I made new ones. And these not so pretty, but they just happen to be in the shop, and I figured I would.
But what are you using them for?
Oh, I'm using them to support the weight of the water heater from the backside in here. The water heater bolts through this bulkhead panel that goes...
Which is just thin plywood.
That's ½ inch. I mean, it's not thin. And it's mahogany, so it's... And you can see, I mean, you can see the quality of the Taeyang shipyard when it came to doing stainless steel. They were much better at wood and fiberglass than they were at doing metal work. Bolt these in place first, so it should be fun wrangling this tank into position.
How are you going to do that?
Well, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along.
Do you want to do one in place and then...
No, because I can't get to the bolt holes and then do everything that I need to do. Because you got to mount the straps separate. So I'm getting ready to hook up and make the plumbing connections on the water heater. And everything in our boat has been replumbed with PEX pipe, which is the red and blue plastic polyethylene stuff. The ISO temps are, well, I guess this one says it was made in Pompano Beach, Florida, but the company's out of Italy. And the 2 engine water connections are National Pipe Taper, which is an American strip thread. The temperature and relief valve drain is pipe thread, American. The cold water in is pipe thread, American. The hot water out is British straight pipe thread, which I don't know why you'd have one fitting on a water heater. It's the thermostatic mixing valve, and they must have sourced the part from somewhere. So I had to get this expensive little adapter, which goes from British straight pipe to National Pipe Taper. So now I'm going to start taping and installing. I'm using Teflon tape, and I prefer Teflon pipe dope as well, as opposed to just straight pipe tape. Now, the way I'm set up, I'm probably going to install a 90 to go down, and then maybe I can use the curvature of the pipe to help me make the connections to the sink supplies. So you always wrap Teflon tape in a clockwise direction.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that way the effect of tightening the pipe will not bunch it up. Yeah, yeah. We won't let it bunch up.
Tighty.
Yeah, exactly. This is the cold water inlet. And I'm going to go ahead and hook up a wastewater drain outlet as well, so that it'll run into the bilge and blow off automatically into the bilge if needed. The pressure relief is set for 100 psi from the factory, so as a safety precaution so the tank doesn't blow up. I don't see any line pressure ever exceeding that, even when we're hooked up to dock water at the hose. And I think our little 12-volt water pump doesn't even put out 45 pounds, maybe 45. So these shark bite fittings are pretty cool. They work with the polyethylene tube. They also work with copper tube and PVC pipe of the same outside, as long as the outside diameter is the same. And this is all copper tube size, which is a standard American size for plumbing. And all you do is you take and you pop it in, and you push it until it stops. There you go, watertight, pressure rated seal. There's an O-ring inside that makes the watertight seal. Then you use this little plastic orange horseshoe, and you slip it on the pipe, you push on it. Take 3.
You got it.
And
that
there
time.
it goes.
You got it that time.
Yeah, all right. Oh shit. Okay. Adjust those things. So I'm installing a fitting in a box up under the sink.
Or the plug.
Yeah, it came with a pigtail pre-installed in the water heater. Our other one was hardwired, and I don't want to void the warranty by cutting off the plug and doing the hookup inside, so I figure I'll just roll with it and install a box. This gets fed from the 15 amp dedicated water heater breaker, and it currently runs all the way back to the engine room, so I'll reroute the wire down under the floor and up into here. So part of the water heater installation is this non-return valve. It's basically a little check valve that lets the cold water go into the tank, but as the tank reaches pressure, because hot water is, I don't know, expands, and it's going to want to push hot water back into the cold water system. So you put this little check valve in, and you can see the arrow on it goes this way, so this will go into the tank, but it won't let water come out of the tank until it gets to the hot water side. This is an Atwood, by the way.
A what?
An Atwood water heater.
Oh, okay.
It's a marine water heater. 110 volts. And also engine fired. So if you know anybody who needs an old used
Works
water,
great though. I mean,
yeah, it'll keep hot water overnight. You can shut this thing off. I think that one's supposed to keep hot water longer, but this one holds. We can shut the power off, and I mean it'll hold it for probably 12 hours or so at least. We never tested it beyond that, but anyway.
so you're just disconnecting it at this point?
Yeah, we're committed now. I have to get this thing finished tonight. We don't have hot water anymore.
So you're reusing that wire?
Yes. This is expensive number 10 marine grade 3-conductor wire. So then this comes through directly under you. So I'm gonna have to come trade you places and pull it back. Remember when I had to go to West Marine and spend like $70 on wire? Now I get to cut it off and make it shorter. This is how much extra wire I had between the engine room and the way we had to route it under the floorboards.
That's not
to
much.
get it out of the way. It left me with roughly maybe 6 or 8 inches of extra wire.
You may now proceed.
So now I'm installing the shark bite fittings and the T's. I'm cutting in. I've disconnected the water heater in the engine room, and now I've abandoned that hot water supply. Maybe a future a cocktail shower or something. So we have access to water to be pressurized out that way. So here's the next shark bite fitting. This goes on the cold water supply.
It's the same kind of fitting?
It's a T.
I can't even hold it up for us.
It's a T, and it even has a cool little shark. I don't know if you can see the shark. Probably right about there. There it is. This. Can you see that?
Drain.
It is the drain. That's why I had to drill another hole in here. And this will be any pressure relief. That's pretty much, well, I'll still have the thing, the shower. Oh, here's taking video.
Is it empty?
It's as empty as. All right, so we got the water heater out of the boat, and now I'm going to empty the residual water that couldn't be drained. And it's like full of, there's a lot of calcium and scale. I mean, it's just milky.
Don't drop it.
I won't. Oops. Guess we don't have to worry about it. Guess we don't have to throw it away now. So it's still Saturday, March 11th. The new water heater's installed, and it's heating water. We just started out. It seems to pull about 7.5 amps on the panel. You can see the gauge. And right now we're only at about 102, 103 degrees. But thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.